Welcome to the Kids Learn podcast. I'm Professor Suki, and get ready to learn. Do you have writer's block? Do you know what writer's block is? Well, first I want to say that I don't really believe in it, and then I'll tell you what it is, and then I'll tell you why I've chosen not to believe in it. So what is writer's block? Writer's block is simply when a writer sits down and realizes they can't write. Maybe they feel like there's just a big blank in their head. Maybe they feel like everything they write is awful or stupid or doesn't match what's in their head. But the end result is that a writer sits down to write and just can't. That's writer's block. So why don't I believe in it? Well, it's not that I haven't been blocked before, though I don't often have that my head is empty problem. My head's pretty full. I do often have what I call the editor on my shoulder. That's that little voice in your head saying, "Your writing is awful. No one will want to read it. It's nowhere near as good as the writing that you should be doing." So, I have had versions of what I would call writer's block, but I choose not to believe in it. Because when you choose not to believe in an intangible thing, you can come up with a set of steps to defeat that intangible thing, and that's what I've done. Here are my 7 techniques to defeat writer's block. Technique number 1, writing. Duh. Yeah, writing. Rule number 1 of being a writer is that you're not a writer if you're not writing. And you are a writer if you are writing, so write. But here's the key to that. Write anything. Don't censor yourself. Don't worry about whether it's good. Don't worry if it's not what you planned. Don't worry about whether you could ever show it to someone else. Just write. Technique number 2, intentional writing. If you feel like you can't write, make that feeling real in your writing. Feel like there's a wall blocking you? Write about the wall and about how you are knocking it down, climbing over it, or going around it. Feel like you have an editor on your shoulder telling you that you're no good? Write a note to that editor telling them to bug off. Make the feeling real with your words, then bust through it. Technique number 3, go against your instincts, planning and pantsing. Writers like to say that we come in 2 flavors, planners and pantsers. Planners are people who love to have everything mapped out and organized before they write. Pantsers are people who write by the seat of their pants, without a plan for what's going to come out and where it's going to go. Do you think you're a planner? You might be a pantser and not know it. Or maybe you just need to pants for this particular piece of writing to flow. Lots of you may have been taught that you always need to outline, but that's only true of people who write well when they outline. That's not necessarily true of everyone. Try just writing your story and see where it goes. Maybe you'll feel freer and find a whole new direction. So, on the other hand, do you actually think you're a pantser? You might be a planner in disguise and not know it. If you don't plan out your stories with an outline, a mind map, or other method, try it. Maybe you just need a sense of where you're going. Or maybe you're working on a particular piece that needs to be organized before you can tackle it. If you don't plan out your stories or essays with an outline, a mind map, or other method, try it. Technique number 4, write non-chronologically. Are you really jazzed up to write the middle section of an essay? Are you having trouble figuring out where your story starts? No problem. Writing in a random order can work really well. Write what you're most passionate about first, then see if you can work around it. Sometimes you'll have to change the part you wrote first once you write the rest of it, just to make it flow well. But that's okay. Most of our best writing often comes during revision. Technique number 5, always keep your work. This is key to making sure you're not blocked. Are you about to do something drastic to a piece of writing? Well, take your doc and make a copy. I like to rename it with the date I started in a new direction. Then go back to the original and do whatever you want with it. If you start to get anxious that what you're doing is not good, you'll still have the original safe and sound. It will make you feel much better about making changes. I promise. Do this even if you have a program that keeps a history of versions. It just feels good to know that there's a copy out there. Technique number 6, backup method. When you're stuck, it's often because you wrote yourself into a tight spot. Think about how people park cars. Sometimes they misjudge and don't go in at the right angle. Do they just stop and say, "Wow, I'm stuck," and leave the car there? Nope, they back up and they try again. In the writing backup method, make a copy first, this is key, then go to your doc and delete the whole last scene or section. Then start writing again. Often you'll find that you're able to flow forward with no problem. Technique number 7. Schedule regular free writing and writing time. Last but not least, especially if you're busy, put writing on your calendar. I suggest regular free writing time every day if you want to be serious about it. You can check out my episode on free writing linked in the show notes. But also put time on your calendar for working specifically on something you need or want to write. Feel like you've been procrastinating on a history essay? Put it on your calendar. Feel like you really want to write a story you've been thinking about? Put it on your calendar to show that it's important to you. Then do it. I hope these tips helped you break the block.